And we're live. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Rick told us at the last minute that he wasn't going to show up, and Roger's off cooking tacos or something tonight. So it's just Skyler and I. So welcome, Skyler.
Hi, everyone.
And with that, we can get going on something. Let me just start through the comments here first. Hey, Chris. I want to ask your opinion on something, Chris, when we get there. Tony's here from Cleveland. Tim, I just talked to Tim, so no surprise he's here. Santa's laser engraving. Actually, I'll get his opinion too on something. David's back. Hey, David. We got a whole bunch of people saying hello. Let's see if we can find people who are new. Phil's here. Hey, Phil. And Radu, who's saying hello to everybody too. What else do we have? I guess that's all the new. Oh, Jim is here. Hey, Jim.
I haven't seen V in the last few streams.
Yeah, V hasn't been here for a while. She works nights, right? Or she was working nights. Maybe now she just doesn't like us anymore. I don't know. Hey, Kevin from Knoxville. Jody from Oz, another Australian. We get quite a bunch of those. And Wade. Oh, there we go. That's everybody. So, yeah, the question I wanted to ask or wanted to talk about is light burn. I know a couple of you guys were on the Laser Everything stream the other night, last night, I guess it was. And they mentioned the discovery of the EasyCAD 3 support in upcoming Lightburn. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I wouldn't mind hearing people's opinions on it. My personal opinion is Lightburn is realizing their market is slowly corroding away, and they need to add some more people that might buy Lightburn. But I'm sure I'm just jaded. QBF Workshop, hey, from Texas. Everybody. Oh, Jody, JM Creative Studios. Hey, Chris. Oh, no, he's saying, hey, Chris. Hey, Jody. Wow, North Macedonia. Cool. Hey, Martina. Wow. Oh, Martin Tanas. You're European. Read that, Skyler.
That
one. We'll just stick with Martin. So what's going on with you, Skyler?
Nothing much. Just working away. Sales starts to pick up a little bit this week compared with the last few weeks. So just been busy.
Of course, the bad news is you can't afford to put gas in the car to drive it to somewhere to sell it now, right?
I'm thinking about getting an electric car.
Yeah, I
know you have one.
I have to confess, I chuckle a little bit now. I feel sorry for people who are paying, dollars for gasoline, but it makes my purchase seem like a wise one now.
Yep. I've thought about it for a few years now. Just need a new car now, so might get one.
Yeah, I like mine. I don't think I'll drive a gas car anymore.
Yeah, I don't even drive far. I just, take kids to school and go grocery shopping or whatever. So I don't need it to be.
Well, I've driven mine halfway across the country. So
yeah, they have charging stations now everywhere. It's not like in the beginning where you have to really think your route.
Dennis is here from West Virginia. Hey, Dennis. Oh, Martin says, don't worry, it's okay. As long as we're okay calling you Martin. John from British Columbia. Hey, John.
Hi,
fellow
John.
Canadian. Other end of the time zones from me. Chris says more CNC use. More. This is the Lightburn thing. More CNC and use 3, and that's why. I think it's just a flow on. flow on from the work they're doing. Sorry, they're doing from MillMage. See, I don't know about that, because I don't know what kind of useful things they're going to get out of EasyCAD 3D for MillMage. I mean, I know the Z-axis stuff is there, but I don't know. Like, it just seemed weird, and it's not a partnership. Like, they just did it, and the EasyCAD guys, I'm sure, are not overly happy about it. But for those that don't know, they're supporting the EasyCAD lasers that use the EasyCAD compatible controller, and there's a few of those, and and certainly it's very similar to what CNCs use for controllers, so they might get something out of it for MillMage, but I don't know. It just seemed odd to me. I mean, I only have one laser left that I use that has Lightburn on it now.
They probably should spend more time actually making Lightburn to work with every laser that there is actually now on the market.
I'd be happy if it worked with the ones that they already say they support.
Right. They kind of half work.
Well, I guess probably in Windows it's fine. The Mac version crashes every now and again. It just goes off into mysterious never land. I don't know if the Windows one does or not. But
yeah, I don't know. I use a Mac.
Yeah, so do I.
My problem is with the lasers is like half of them don't want to connect to Lightburn. It takes forever until you connect them.
Yeah, well, the Find My Laser stuff doesn't work all the time, but that's one thing. You can always manually configure it, but sometimes the connections are just a bit odd for some reason. I don't know. And it's not like if you use, pick your software, like xTool software, it never has trouble connecting to its own lasers. Like, they connect instantly. And some of the other tools where companies have written custom software for their lasers, they seem to work quite well. But Tim says, not till tax comes in October. Yeah, taxes. I had to pay tax this year. It bothered me. Well, I have to pay it. I haven't filed yet, but I'm going to have to pay, I don't know, close to $1,000. Couldn't quite write off enough things this year. Santa says, I asked the question last night if it was ketchup. Yeah, I saw your question there, which is why I asked. I personally think there's merit in this. I think they're trying to, like, the market's getting chipped away, right? Laser companies are disappearing, and a lot of the big companies that are left are building their own software now. And they're seeing their market erode, and then they're looking over the fence at these EasyCAD controllers going, yeah, we can support those, and maybe we can get some more market share back. As much as EasyCAD sucks, if somebody bought a laser that uses EasyCAD 3 and they've made an investment to learn it, I think they're probably not going to switch to Lightburn. They might, but I don't know. I wouldn't if I spent, a year learning EasyCAD because it's a pain. I wouldn't. Did I read that question? I wouldn't necessarily look at Lightburn as an opportunity, because you've got to learn everything all over again. You want to take this one, Skyler?
Engraving words on a block edges are dark. Seems like overscan, but I can't find settings in Lightburn.
Oh, now we need to go back and find out what Brady's question was. I don't see a question, Rado. Did you ask something? What's the context of this statement?
I think it's looking for maybe the settings in Lightburn, but
oh, he's engraving. He's engraving words in a block. Edges are dark. Seems like overscan. Yeah, it could be. That's most likely the case, unless you're doing a second outline or something on top of the engraving after. That may be a little overpowered. So if you have two paths, two tool paths, one that's a fill and one that's an outline, maybe that's what's happening, but more likely it's overscan. Plug-in hybrids are best for Canada. I don't know. I have never had any problems with my. I don't even like. They always talk about range anxiety with EVs. It's like I don't have that. I don't know what that is. I can drive just as far in my car as a gas car can drive.
I think that was more a thing in the beginning when there was not a lot of stations to charge it.
Yeah.
But now you have them everywhere.
See, I don't generally go to chargers. I mean, I charge at home, and I can drive, 500 kilometers, whatever that is in miles, which is farther than I ever want to go. So, but like I said, I did drive halfway across the country, and I did use a lot of, well, not a lot. I used a few superchargers on the way, and was pretty uneventful. Especially the navigation. The navigation routes you automatically through them, right? So.
Do they at least have them next to a restaurant or something that you can go?
Yeah, they're always in like malls and
yeah.
places like
that.
They
don't have to sit in the car, just wait.
Well, you can watch television. You can watch YouTube while you're sitting in the car. So I don't know. I have my only gripe with plug-in hybrids is you've got twice the complexity. So twice as many things to potentially go wrong. But Toyota's certainly perfected it. Santa says, I think from what I've seen about Alien Cell and future lasers, they may be starting to use more Z-axis for laser projects where you just do maybe one side of a tumbler. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? And I mean, the Alien Cell definitely is supported by Lightburn, but the whole reason for buying an Alien Cell disappears when you use Lightburn. Now their software is a little simplistic, but
so you don't have to use a rotary tool. It just does the curve engraving, or
well, so there's a whole generation, a new generation of lasers that all can focus on curves, right? So now you're still on a steep curve. Like if you go more than, you can't obviously go more than half of the diameter, right? So when you get to the edges, you're still going to have distorted beam hitting things. So it's not perfect, but most people don't, if you're going to make something that big, you're probably going all the way around anyway. So
is it the same like on xTool where you have to take the probing and, figure out the 3D shape and then it does it?
Well, some of them are like that. Some of them have LiDAR type focusing on them. Alien Cell, I think theirs is some sort of range finding as opposed to, although they do come down and touch the material. So what they do is actually they come down and touch the material, and then they go over to some known location on the side, and they have a little pin focuser thing, a measurement like xTool. It's better than xTool's actually, but it goes over there and then measures the distance between those two to get the actual height. Works really well, actually. The xTool one on the S1, it always frustrated me because inevitably the little pin was hanging down while it was trying to move the head, and it would rip it off the side of the laser head.
Yeah, but the magnet was pretty weak.
This one never does that. So the full points to Alien Cell for their focusing. I don't know if xTool is fixed.
I've only done that curve engraving with the xTool just for the testing, but then I never actually had to use it in real life, so never used it.
I mean, tumblers in general are kind of a corner case for me, but I have used it for some kind of curved things, like things that are kind of wavy, and people wanted focus like an engraving across it, and it's good because you can say, well, that's really hard because that's not how light works. So then you can say, well, I'm gonna have to charge you more, and they go, yeah, okay, I realize it's hard. So there is benefit to it from a business perspective. But hey, Terry from Texas. Chris says, filling up the EasyCAD 3. I think filling up the EasyCAD 3 is just to give them potential sales number. Yeah, see, that's what I think too. Like, I mean, they're a private company, so they don't have to announce their sales numbers to anybody. But I think their market is slowly disappearing, because name a laser company now that of any measurable size that doesn't have their own software. Like Longer has their own, Algo Laser has their own. It's
usually free.
And it's free, right? You bought the laser, so here's the software. And even if it's, Lightburn is definitely pretty good from a design perspective, but it costs money. And, we all live in the real world, and money's hard to get now, right? So people look at it and go, yeah, I'd like Lightburn, but I'm not going to buy it because it costs money. So I don't know. It's just an interesting turn of events. The fact that there wasn't like an announced partnership kind of suggests that it's really about sales numbers rather than, we can benefit from some technology that's in EasyCAD. Chris says again, Op started with one comment, finished with another. Op.
Oops, maybe.
Oh, oops. Yeah, oops started with one comment, maybe another. Jack in the shop. Hey, guys.
Hi, Jack.
Loco for locomotives. Cool. He's a modeler. At least maybe he's a train engineer. I don't know. But
hi, Ken.
Ken from Washington State. Hey, Ken. Tim says, I don't think Steve saw the new provincial tax on EV cars. Yeah. So in a world where we want people to stop using, petroleum because it's expensive, our government has decided to put a tax, an extra $500 every 2 years on your license for an electric car. At the same time, they're spending $2 billion to build some offshore windmills or turbines. Governments are stupid. But where is you're looking for the setting? It's in, oh geez, let me see. I don't know if I have Lightburn on this computer. I do not. There is a setting when you create a toolpath. If it's a fill, you'll see an overscan. It's a switch, and then that turns it on and off, and then you can create the amount of overscan, and usually about 4% is good enough. But if you're lazy, if your laser's a little sloppy, maybe you need a little more. Lightburn also has some calibration tests you can run for like scanning offset, I think it's called. And you'll see it scans in both directions. So first thing to do is turn off bidirectional engraving just to see if that makes a difference. But if you run those offset scanning tests, you may see it scans in one direction and then scans back, and those lines are supposed to line up on the sides. If they don't, you can adjust the timing a bit. There's a whole tutorial on how to do it. It's usually not a problem with diode lasers, but who knows? Maybe you got a loose belt or something. Chris says to Radu, depends on the controller. Overscan on Ruida controllers. Do the overscan, ignore what Lightburn tells it. Yeah. If it's a CO2 laser of some non-name brand, we'll say, although I think OMTech uses Ruida controllers, they will just totally ignore the scanning offset, the overscan. So you'll have to do it a different way with those. But if it's a diode laser, it's gonna be supported in Lightburn, so you should be able to do it there. Oh, it's a Longer B1. Well, it doesn't matter what the controller is. It's probably some ARM type controller, but try to turn off bidirectional engraving and see if it at least limits the darkness to one side. If it does, then it's definitely an overscan issue. Yeah, device settings, second tab. His memory is much better than mine. Yeah, that's where I think all the offset scanning offset stuff is, but you can actually control the percentage of overscan in the toolpath, in the layer definition for a fill. It's right at the top of all the settings on a layer setting. Martin says, please, if it's possible to get an answer. I think it's out of the ring of the conversation, but I'll try. I use RD Works on my laser, and every time when I try to engrave a picture, I use several features from.
I think it's coming in a different comment, the rest of it.
Well, yeah, I think the message here is he's using RD Works. I haven't used RD Works, at least not in the last 5 years, so I can't really guess what's going on there. If anyone's used RD Works, this means it's probably an off-brand CO2 laser, like a K40 or something. I know a guy who knows RD Works really well, but I can't. I mean, I know who he is. He's Ross, but I can't remember what his YouTube channel is. He does a lot of RD Works stuff. Acolp. Wow, we're getting lots of new names here. Is there a good cheat sheet to get a good starting point for engraving different Yeti tumbler colors? 60 watt MOPA fiber. So the paint, the powder coat on the mug doesn't really matter too much to a fiber laser. It's going to blast through it anyway. The problem with a fiber laser is when it gets to the stainless steel, it's going to mark the stainless steel. So it's probably going to make it black. Well, I won't say there's not a lot you can do. You can play around with the settings a lot to get that right.
Probably a higher frequency, right? And
yeah, well, you're definitely going to have to go faster too.
Faster, more lines per inch.
Yeah, I mean the real laser for painted tumblers is a CO2 laser, because
but
when
then you won't get colors. I think he wants to get colors.
Well, he's talking about the color of the tumbler here.
Oh, okay. So the painted.
Yeah, the painted ones. So CO2 lasers will blast through the paint and then stop at the aluminum.
It won't mark the metal.
They'll just make it shiny. Fiber lasers are very good at marking stainless steel, so they'll turn it black. I know this because I screwed this up at one point. Yeah, I went to all the trouble to take a very expensive tumbler and put something on it, and when I went back to look at it, it was black, and I was not happy. Have a look at the first few lines in the control tab. When you turn, this is Chris saying this to Reddit, when you turn the laser on, it will sometimes give you the info there. Otherwise, you will need to ask support. This is for the overscan. Man, I wish I had Lightburn installed on this machine. I don't have lasers in here, so I don't normally keep Lightburn here, but it's there. Actually, if you just Google Lightburn overscan, you'll be able to find it, I'm sure. Where it says, program, but can you assist me please to improve picture scanning except for Imager and Luma Point, I guess that is. What is the best program to improve picture settings? to be good and realistic engrave? Oh, see, this is a hard question. So a lot matters with photos. If you're looking for realistic photos, the photo itself, the quality of the original photo matters. It has to be, you're probably going to want to use something like Jarvis to engrave it rather than, certainly not grayscale. That would just make a
Grayscale
mess,
is the
especially on a
hardest.
CO2. Well, it is on a CO2 laser. It's not so
All
bad.
right,
On
so it doesn't have
diode.
that much range.
Yeah. Yeah, CO2 lasers are generally on or off. So, yeah, this would be very hard to answer. I mean, you can send me an email with a photo that you're trying to engrave, and I can look at it, or the results you're getting, and maybe something will come out there. But Imager is one of the best ones to use, especially like if you're trying to do, if it's just a straight photo as opposed to something like a depth map. Imager should do it, and then it's just a case of finding the right settings for your laser.
Yeah, make sure that on your original photo, none of the blacks or whites are clipped. So you don't want to have a lot of pure black and a lot of pure white.
Yeah, you want to look.
Pure white, yeah, it's not going to mark anything on the wood, and if it's pure black, it's just going to burn it.
Yeah, you want to look at the luminance graph and make sure that it goes from 0 to 255, not a whole bunch of 0 and a whole bunch of 255. Yeah, you may want to play with the brightness of the image a bit and the contrast to make it a little contrasty, make it a little crisper. Well, hopefully thanks is deserved, but we'll find out. But you can send me a picture of the image and I'll take a look at it, and it'll give me a feel for what you're trying to do there. Jim says, started engraving clear acrylic business cards, obviously on your CO2 or your, do you have, yeah, you got a UV laser, 1/8 and 1/32. Wow, those are 1/32 is pretty thin.
I guess they fit in your wallet better.
Except, well, they're acrylic. Yeah, they're flexible a bit, especially when they're that thin. I haven't talked to you much, Jim, to find out how you're doing with your glass, whether you have given up on glass. It's hard. Glass is just brutal. Right, it says scan adjustment in device for adjusting scan lines to each other. That's the scanning offset stuff. Not how far off image. Not how far off image to slow speed up. Yeah, well, there's two things here. There's scanning offset, which is in each direction. How does the laser start and stop at the same point? And then there's overscan, which is how far do you go past the edge of the image before the laser turns off. And those are two different settings. One is in machine settings and one is in layer settings. Oh, here's the rest of Jim's demo. 1/8 engraves white, but the 1/32 engraves clear. Any thoughts on why there's a difference? It could be different composition.
Like maybe one is cast, one is not.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
I had good luck with cast acrylic. But
yeah, that's all I use.
Yeah.
Yeah, the extruded type of acrylic is...
Yeah, I had it sometimes when it just melts and turns black.
Yeah, it's the stuff you buy in the hardware store for, like, you know, covering in, like, right, making storm windows and stuff. It does not cut well or engrave at all. It just turns into yellow goo. Yep. When you try and engrave it. But I would suggest, because if they're different, it's because the composition of the acrylic is different on one of them. And I'm guessing the one that doesn't work is the one that's probably extruded acrylic rather than cast. Take one of these, Skyler.
If you do the processing in a third-party software, you need to have pass-through option turned on, so Lightburn does not try to add this processing to the image. That's true. If you don't have pass-through, then Lightburn is just going to add all kinds of things, and it's going to mess up the image.
Yeah, if the image isn't processed perfectly,
right,
you want that. But if you're happy with the way the image looks, you can just turn on pass-through and just engrave it like that. Although if it's on a CO2 laser, there's not a lot that Lightburn's going to do to it. But you will need something like Jarvis to engrave it. Brian says, hello. Now Wade's getting into our local politics. Yes, they took the tolls off of our bridges across the bay, across the harbor. And then they're going to tax EV drivers as a result. So, well, they had a tax in most cases to compensate for loss of revenue. Well, this is what they say, but you know, the guy across the street from me has like this massive Ram pickup truck thing, and he probably uses more gas just driving out to the street than the energy I use, and he doesn't necessarily, he pays his tax to drive on the road, but he's not paying his tax to pollute the atmosphere. So I don't know. It's one versus the other. Robert says, I just got a Creality K2 Plus. How would you rate this printer and the software? Is it hard to use? If Roger was here, he'd be telling you how terrible Creality is. Creality support is I have friends at Creality, so I'll try not to be too mean, but their support needs work. But the printer itself is actually pretty good. I haven't used a K2. I have a K1 Pro, and I put a lot of miles on that thing. I now have a Bamboo H2, but the Creality is still alive, so it's a pretty decent printer. Their software is it's okay. It's mostly machine control. You're not going to do. It's not like Orca Slicer or something where you're going to do a bunch of design potentially in there. I'd say use Orca Slicer if you can get a K2 driver for it. But then you lose things like the live camera and stuff. So it's one versus the other. Santa says he's coming from an AutoCAD background. Lightburn was an easy transition. Yeah, for sure. The design in Lightburn definitely is one that a lot of people want to copy. Then when I bought my little F2 and started using xTool Studio, I was impressed.
I don't design anything in any of the lasers software.
Yeah.
I just go to Inkscape. I do everything on Inkscape, export to the SVG.
Yeah, I was using Inkscape. Oh, let me finish Chris's statement here first. Neither are true design tools, but xTool is ahead. Yeah, so xTool, and I think this has to be keeping the Lightburn guys up at night, right? Because a year ago, xTool was, I'll say, fairly far behind. But when you look at what they do now, first of all, every tool you buy uses their same software. So whether it's a laser welder or a laser cutter, or even their DTF printer, they all use the same software. And if you learn how to use it, you can use any of their tools, right? So it has a big advantage that way. But yeah, I don't generally use Lightburn. Even when I was using a lot of Lightburn, I didn't use Lightburn for design. I used a separate design tool. And the reason wasn't because I didn't like Lightburn. It was because I had Lightburn and xTool and Vectric V-Carve. And sometimes, depending on the customer, they wanted to cross 3 or 4 different things. And it's easier to just have it separate and then import it into each tool.
Yeah, especially if you have designed something on xTool, you can't take that file, export it, and then use it on a laser on Lightburn because the file is not compatible. It's an xTool file.
Well, you can kind of get compatible. Like you can export they call it an SVG from Lightburn. It ends up, especially with things like fonts, it gets a bit weird. So again, I just start from something that I know, and I used to use Inkscape a lot. Now I use Kittle for a lot of that kind of design. Now, if I need straight measured lines, I'll use Fusion for that rather than. But yeah, I've spent many hours in Inkscape too. It works pretty well, and it's free.
And it's free.
All software companies who don't have their hardware living on
Borrowed time.
all man, I'm having trouble reading tonight. All software companies who don't have their hardware living who there's a word missing here.
Living on borrowed time. Wait.
Sorry, I'm trying not to die. Yeah, I think the challenge that I think a company like Lightburn is going to have increasingly is they don't control the hardware, right? So if you look at xTool is the obvious example, but lots of companies are doing this. Alien Cell is the latest one that I've seen. They control the hardware, and there's no guarantee that they're going to support their features in Lightburn, and there's no guarantee that Lightburn can even support their features. Contoured focus is a good one, right? Like they don't support that on any laser. Jack says, I didn't know anyone still used RDWorks. Now, I would think this, but I didn't say it because having worked as a software engineer, hardware and software engineer, I wrote software 25 years ago that's still being used today. So software can live a long time. And if you invested in learning it and it works with your laser, because there are definitely some K40 lasers that are only supported in RDWorks. You kind of stick with what you have, right? This is why COBOL is still existing in banks everywhere, and no one knows how to write code for it anymore. So God help us if there's ever a bug in a bank system. Yeah, Martin's saying it's a CO2 laser. He uses a 6445, so you could conceivably use Lightburn. So I don't know if, I mean, you've got obviously some time invested in RDWorks, so I don't know that Lightburn would be easier, but when you ask a question, you're going to find 100 people who will answer it for Lightburn. You may find one person who's still old enough to give you an answer for RDWorks. So maybe it's time. I don't know. You do have more control in Lightburn over things too, as long as it's not contoured focus. 130 watt. It's a pretty impressive laser. Ross, faux hammer. No, different Ross. There's a lot of Rosses in the YouTube world. And if I can remember his YouTube channel, I'll post it here. Oh, and it has a 5-watt UV laser. Is this like a Gweike laser or something? A GWIC, rather? Because they're big on those types of combinations. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I think Laser Everything did a video on doing pictures on a UV. Well, UVs are easy to do pictures on.
They're really good at it too. The spot size is so small.
I actually did one not that long ago. Well, it was on metal, but still using the xTool F2 Ultra UV. If you look on my channel, and a bunch of coin engraving stuff too, but that's more for fiber. Yeah, Radu says, right, overscan is what I'm thinking needs attention. It isn't in the layer cut settings window. Speed, power, man, I'm sure it was there. Did they change something? Maybe it's, no, there was some place where you gave it the percentage of overscan, and I thought it was in the layer window. Huh. I may have to install Lightburn here while we're on, but.
What did you two do? Lock Ricky and Roger in the closet?
Now, Roger's cooking tacos tonight, and Rick had some
a family emergency.
Some kind of family emergency, so.
Ditched us in the last minute.
I feel so used. Jim says he'd taken a hiatus from engraving glasses. Yeah, that's a wise thing. The longer break you take, the better you'll feel too, just so you know. Went back to it today and had to stop due to a disconnect issue. Yeah, you were having some cable issue, right? Hopefully you get that resolved. Bad USB cable.
xTool software has gone from toddler to adult in the last 12 months. Yes, they're growing fast. They're pretty much dominating the whole laser world now, like the market.
Yeah,
like they're taking over with all of their machines.
Well, they have, like, just in the laser space, like in the regular laser engraver space, they've got like a 36 or 39% market share, right? So think about that. 4 out of every 10 lasers sold is an xTool. And I mean, they have a huge advantage because, like, Lightburn as a company is small, right? It's only like 30 some people, and xTool has 200 people working on just the xTool Studio software, so they can move obviously faster.
What I love about them is that they have never put out a product on the market that was not ready. So many companies these days, they're rushing things, they send things out, things don't work.
Yeah, I got one of those sitting on my workbench right now.
For xTool, it's like when they, let something go out, it works.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see what their UV printer is going to look like.
Right.
That's coming soon, I think, to the world. They said Q2, so.
I'm expecting some big improvements from the UV E1. And then I think everybody else is going to start copying whatever the design would be.
Yeah, well, I think it's a different market they're after, though. Like the UV E1 is really nice. It's a great UV printer, but it's designed for
small personal use.
It's like a personal UV printer, right? And then at the other end of that home market, you've got this new xTool, which is big. Like, it's like you could put a UV make on the inside of it and print on it if you wanted to.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was that big. I thought it was the same size, like,
No, it's quite big.
It's like the longer one too. I think the longer one is smaller too.
Yeah, the longer's kind of in between. So longer's literally the middle of that market. But yeah, the xTool one I think is going to be I mean, if you look at what xTool is doing, they kind of gave up the home market, right? They don't have a $500 laser anymore. They don't even think in that space. They've moved to small to medium-sized businesses, and that's where they are now. So, and they literally have that market pretty much all to themselves now. So it was a good move.
Everybody else is racing for the bottom. Lower price, lower quality.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the diode laser market was doing that, but I think all those companies that reached the bottom just fell off.
Yep.
Like
xTool has not created a diode laser in 3 years now since they had S1.
The S1 was the last one, and I really doubt that they'll create another just a diode laser. Like, I mean, all of their F series, F2 series, they all have diode lasers in them,
right.
but well, not the F2 Ultra UV, but so they just kind of put it in as a commodity now, right? It's like, oh yeah, and here's a diode laser in case you want to, engrave a piece of wood. But I don't ever see them coming out with another just
I never really
standalone diode
understood
laser.
why the UV lasers also have some diode lasers in them, because I feel like everything you can do with the UV, or everything you do with the diode, you can do with the UV. And some people
Well,
say,
you
well, but
can't.
the engraving is not as dark, but you can get dark engraving if you get the
Yeah,
settings
well,
right.
yeah. There's two things. So first of all, you won't get dark engraving on some materials. Plastics, you kind of get what you get. It may be dark, it may be white.
Right. Sometimes it's gray, sometimes silver.
Yeah, if it's some kinds of plastic, it comes out gray. But you can't really cut anything with a UV laser. And I think a diode laser, like if you wanted to cut out a piece of wood and then do some UV engraving on top of it, you could do that if you had a diode laser built in. A coffee mug salute. Oh, I don't have my coffee mug here. Hey, Randy. Chris says, Jim, if time is not an issue, I find I'm getting great results with the 004 split. Yeah, well, anywhere in that under 0.5 millimeter kind of split. But I think Jim accidentally, well, I don't know if it was accidental, but he did send me his rotary settings, and I looked at it and went, it's 5 millimeters. Wow. I mean, on a CO2 laser, you might be able to get away with that, but he was trying to do this with an Omni 1, and 5 millimeters out on an arc, you're going to be out of focus. So I think a lot of the problems he was having was because of that. Focus. But that was something we never discussed in conversation. So I think I suggested 0.1, but if I don't do that many round engravings, so if Chris says 0.04, I'd try that.
Skyler, what dust collector? Your dust collector looks just like mine. Shop Fox. Yep, this one, it's the 2 horsepower Shop Fox. I have 3 dust collectors. That one has become one of my favorites right now.
Oh, it's a Haitian laser. Yeah, they make big lasers too. They make really good fiber lasers, actually. Santa says, Grayscale, Jarvis, and others. I'm still trying to understand. Skyler, from your photography background, do you have any advice?
I've not done many photo engraving, so I can't really advise much on it. My understanding is that Jarvis, the way it engraves, it just does those little dots. So it's like it makes the pictures out of dots, versus Grayscale is just like a smooth flow from white to black.
Yeah, with Grayscale is more like a photograph, whereas Jarvis is you get gray, you get shades of gray based on dot density.
Yeah. Like if you look with the magnifier to a dollar bill.
Yes.
So dots.
Yeah, well, that's like an etching, but same idea, right? It's made up of a whole bunch of lines rather than dots. The Grayscale is realistically only going to be useful on a diode laser, although I did use Grayscale on a UV laser to engrave metal. That metal engraving video I did, I believe I used Grayscale there. Sorry, that's a fiber laser, not UV. But Jarvis will work everywhere. So start with Jarvis, and if you want something that looks a little nicer than that, and you have a diode laser or a fiber laser, you might be able to do Grayscale. What I did, I mean, a lot of these terms have been around for a long time for software geeks, but what I did was I actually built myself a test that prints just a little image with each of the modes. In fact, I did a video on that too, about a year ago, probably. And it gives you a feel for how good each of those modes works on any given piece of material, because some materials work better as well. There are things like, I mean, you can call them binary materials, like acrylic. It doesn't matter what kind of laser you're going to use. Acrylic is either engraved or it's not engraved. There's no in between. There's no gray. So for that, you have to use Jarvis on any laser. So there's lots of variables here. Could be the laser, could be the material. Layer settings might be under the advanced tab. Yeah, I've seen it somewhere. Could be. I always have the advanced tab turned on, so maybe that's why. Martin says, thank you for your time assistance. All the time I watch your videos. Oh, great. Hopefully you watch Skyler's too. Or maybe he watches yours and hopefully he watches mine. Learn a lot from them. I need to go to sleep. Yeah. Thanks for coming out, Martin. If you do need help, just shoot me an email and I'll do what I can for you. Only thing in advanced cut layer is the window, is the ramp. Man, I'm going to have to find this because now it's going to bother me. North Macedonia. We can put another pin on the map. I mean, I like the fact that we get people from literally around the world, even people willing to stay up till 2 a.m. I'm usually waking up about that time. About the diode laser and UV laser, I think it's about nanometrics. Also, hot and cold laser, I think, is totally different. Well, yes, a UV laser works on a very different principle than a diode laser. Diode lasers are like torches. UV lasers are like chisels. Is the best way to describe that. Ablation is the complicated term for what a UV does.
Who doesn't love a good chisel?
Yeah, it's a million little chisels. Have you tried doing any relief on anything you've built to sell yet?
No.
You got to do that. No. Looks great.
I have to show you my biggest fail of this week of building something.
Oh, well, yeah, let's have it.
Let me go get it.
My biggest fail was just a complete lack of progress on things. This is on a UV 5mm split I use for prototyping using the rotary. Yeah, you're pushing the limits with a 5mm split on a UV though, because the focus is so narrow on a UV.
All right, so I had this idea that I was going to laminate together some different color woods and make a box, and then power carve it so you can see the color from underneath the wood. So when I carved it, I completely butchered it. It looks terrible. So I thought I would do like some waves or something, but I'm not good with carving. So then I played around and tried to make some dots. I thought maybe that would be better, but I didn't like that. So then I ended up with this kind of lines.
Those look all right.
So this one was, end up in the trash. Then I made this box with that idea. I took that idea.
Yeah, that looks good.
So I ended up with this.
Nothing wrong with that.
But this one, complete disaster. I had this idea in my head, was looking so good, and then I went to make it, and I made that.
Do you have a wood stove or a fireplace?
No, I do have fireplaces. I have two, but it has glue on it. I don't want to put glue on my fireplace.
Then start a bonfire out in the backyard. Oh, Chris, this is contentious. Grayscale equals photo Jarvis equals newspaper. Oh, well, I know. Well, grayscale is definitely not like Jarvis and newspapers. It's true grayscale. It's adjusting the power of the laser to create the grayscale. But Jarvis and newspapers have really coarse. They actually vary the dot size in newspapers too, to make like bigger dots make darker images, and so they kind of do two things. Jarvis is literally just dot density. I can't run Lightburn on this computer due to the drivers used by other programs. I need to run on this one. Yeah, light burn. There shouldn't be anything bothering light burn from a driver perspective. I run like usually 5 different slicers and 2 copies of light burn. Well, I don't, not anymore, but I used to run 2 copies of light burn all the time. Yeah, there. Santa's a diehard. He's going to be with us, but not at 2 a.m. I won't be here at 2 a.m. either.
I can't even make it to 11.
No. I wake up at 5 in the morning, so. Oh, 2 a.m. means, Chris says, 2 a.m. means I still have an hour or 2 before bed. My God. That would be brutal. Santa says I stay up one night a year. He's hanging on to that legend. But who nags the elves in the middle of the night? Grill canopy. Is that the pattern he's talking about on your box that you made?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that what it's called?
I have no idea. I just made it up.
Well, I've seen that pattern, but I did a so with CNCs you can do this too, right? So
right.
When you eventually get your Onefinity, if it's still probably a few weeks
now it says, first it said it was like, well, beginning of April. Then they sent another update and said, we're still on track, like middle to late April. And now they sent the last update. It's like batch 4, we're still on track, late April, beginning of May. Come on.
I guess it depends what track you're on. Maybe it's just a hill.
Probably. I'm so anxious. I keep practicing on the VCarve Pro and make designs and do the toolpaths, and it looks good on the computer, but who knows, like if I have to do it on the piece of wood, it's probably going to be completely different. Who knows what I did in there? I can't tell if I did good or not.
It's pretty good from a what you see is what you get perspective, but like I have done laminated 2 different colors of wood, and then you cut through the first layer to get to the dark layer, so light on top and dark on the bottom, or vice versa. It works actually pretty well on a CNC because you don't like when you're using your fairly inaccurate grinding tool, you may go a little deep, or you may touch it and you get a light spot. Yeah, that won't happen with a CNC. I haven't turned my CNC on for so long. I've just got too many things to do, and just haven't had a CNC job that made it exciting. A lot of the things that I could use a CNC for are just things I could easily use a laser for. So
it's faster.
Radu says, I took the shell off my racing snail, thinking it would make him faster, but if anything, it made him more sluggish. Oh, that's the dad joke of the day. If you don't have kids, Radu, you should have some. Maybe the track is delaying shipping. Yeah. I don't know. They seem to be usually pretty accurate, but like both of my Onefinities, they had really long times on them, but they didn't change the time once they gave it to me.
Right.
Like not more than a day or 2.
Yeah, I've been using my Shaper Origin, and I can do a lot of things with it. But then the more I use it, the more I'm like, cannot do this, I cannot do that. It's not a real CNC.
Yeah, I don't know how Shaper stays in business, because you're either going to use a router or you're going to use a CNC. They're literally in the middle there, right? I mean, I guess if you're doing something big that's too big for a CNC, it's probably
then it's great for it.
Yeah, like
or
if you're doing
quick,
a whole
it's so easy to set it up, and it just doesn't take much room. I mean, it just takes like I don't know.
It looks like it would be complicated to set up.
It's not. because you can make a grid. So that's like, you can just measure two sides, the X and the Y, and then it has a grid. So you can make that grid like every 1/4 inch, 1 inch, and you can place your design wherever you want. It's pretty much the software. It's as simple as the xTool software. And that's pretty much all you can do, but with the router, not the laser.
But what's with all these little domino tape things?
That's how it knows where it is in space.
Yeah, do you have to? Yeah, but you have to put those down.
Well, I have their bench where it's like you buy it and it has the dominoes is already on it and it stays there and it's always there. So now it knows every time I use that bench, I'll show you. It just knows exactly where it is, so I don't have to keep putting them down and pick them up.
Oh, we're going on a road trip.
Yep, sorry.
No, that's okay.
So here is what it looks like.
Huh.
So they stay in there. It's attached. So that's just how it knows.
It almost looks like a laser frame.
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
But you can use things, you can clamp them on your work surface here, or it has this thing underneath and you can put things standing up too. So if you want to do dovetail or something, you can put your wood standing up and remove this platform.
Santa says he turned a Harry Potter wand for his nephew. Now, I would have a question. Did he turn it on a lathe or did he turn it on a 4-axis CNC? Use the same technique as that handle on your lid there you showed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, Chris says he'd much rather wait the extra time to get products that were yeah, this is the tedious balance of YouTube, because if you wait until the thing is stable, it's going to be out of date. But if you go too early, then people say, well, I can't even buy it yet, or they get one and they've made so many changes to it from the time you reviewed it that it doesn't look the same. But I do like xTool's model for releasing things. Like, they still call them, so anytime they've shipped me something like the F2 Ultra UV, they said it was a prototype, but then 2 weeks after they sent it to me and I did the review, they started shipping them. So so they don't, I guess there's like the alpha phase, which is what a lot of companies send you, and I get too many of those where they just don't work. I'm struggling a bit right now, in fact, with one.
Or half of the features are not even turned on. They're like, well, we're still working on it.
Well, this is the case with the M1, the filament extruder. It looks like the display is live and there's things on there, but almost all of it is just not attached to anything. So, like, I can't make, I guess I can make PETG filament. I can make PLA CF filament, but I can't make ABS, for example. There's just no setting for it. And there's not a lot of adjustment on the feed. So if I want to tweak the diameter, if it's just not quite right, I don't have any control over that yet. They're supposed to send updates soon, but yeah, that one is very early stage. But it works. It works actually pretty well.
When I reviewed the WeCreate Lumos Ultra, it works great, but they're supposed to have autofocus, and there's a button that says autofocus, but it's grayed out. They're still working on it.
Yeah. Well. Randy says, I've been researching old wood, and this is probably one for you, old wood preservation techniques. If I may, what are your thoughts? This is all you. The answer.
I don't know anything about wood preservations. I buy all my wood kiln dry and just sits here until I use it.
And it's all new, so there's no reason to preserve it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have one big piece of redwood that I bought at an auction, and I was like, I don't have anything to mill it because I can't slice it. It's too thick. It's like 7 inches thick.
Oh, you don't have a big enough bandsaw.
Yeah, no, well, it wouldn't go through it because it's huge. It's like, 90 pounds.
Oh.
It's a big slab.
Get help.
Yeah. I saw a guy down the street. He has a mill during the summer on the road there. He's like milling wood. Maybe I'll just stop by one day, ask him if he can mill it for
With
me.
your piece of wood. Can you cut this in half?
Yes. I'm sure he will. It's May.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. This one, you can take this one since it's about
The shaper is a niche tool for taking to job sites mainly, like engraving floors, etc. Definitely very portable, capable, but some things. Looking back, when I bought it just to make inlays because it will go so much quicker. Then you can have so much control. And I loved it for that. I did some box joints with it, and it was taking too long to use it for that, so I just do them on the table saw now. But looking back, the money I put into that with the whole setup that I have there, I think it cost me around $6,000. So I could have bought a real CNC for that money.
Yeah, you could buy a nice CNC for $6,000. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny that you say it takes too long. When I watched your last video there of you shaving like one little slice off the corner of a piece of wood and then trying to fit it in the box. Nope, needs another slice. It's like, holy cow.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that kind of stuff if it takes long, but if it's just the setup time, like a machine to keep like, clamping and doing setup, and box joints I can do on the table saw in like 0 minutes. I have the jigs that are all set up and I can just do it quickly.
Yeah. I finally used my table saw just recently, my saw stop to do a 45-degree angle. It's like, nice. I mean, I always cut straight things, right? It's like,
was it a short miter or a long one? I hate cutting long miters.
It wasn't like I had to worry about my fingers or anything. Boomer OZ3GR OZ. I'm sure that means something, but if you double click on the layer in the cuts layer, we're still trying to find the answer to this. If it opens the details window for that layer, then if you change the mode to fill, yes, using the down arrow, this is like some of these shortcuts for video games. It will show you the overscanning as a percentage. Yes, this is the thing I was thinking of.
You're not in the frame, by the way, anymore. It's just me on the screen.
Oh, sorry. There. How's that?
There you are.
Yeah, it's... I knew it was there somewhere, and I think if it's not set to at least 4%, you're probably going to get a little bit of weird overlap. So, but that's where it is. Fortunately, somebody has Lightburn up and running. Oh, this is how he made his wand. Wood lathe and then by hand. Yeah, because the wand is not like it's a weird looking thing, right? It looks like an old stick.
Have you ever tried a lathe, Steve?
I used to have a lathe, but I wasn't ever really using it. I made, I don't know, a chair and a few other little things, but it just, I moved a couple of times and I just didn't have room for it. So I do know a guy who's like a master lathe craftsman type person, and if I need anything made round, I'll just go ask him. Oh yes, Zentenro. Here I am. I'm here. See, this is what happens when Rick's not here. He manages all the buttons. So I was trying to think of my disaster for this week. I just haven't accomplished much. I've been busy, but I did this internal laser engraving thing. I want to do a video on it actually, because I discovered on certain things it is possible to do a multi-pass inside the crystal. And now I've also similarly discovered that you can do 2 passes, because if you do 3 passes, you get a horrendous fracture in the glass.
Oh, fracture.
I'm not sure what drives that, but yeah, when I get time. I keep saying I wanted to do fewer reviews, and hardware just keeps flying in. So
I know, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't want to do any more reviews. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, okay, I'll do this one.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get like I'm still catching up on things from 2025 that I committed to, and I'm just getting them. I have far fewer commitments from 2026, but it's it's not fun. It takes a lot of time.
Any new videos you have coming up?
I'm finally getting around to the bamboo H2C video, although I didn't want to do just like a goofy review where here's the specs, let me read them for you. So what I did was kind of look at 5 things, because I've had it for 4 months now. So I would look at like 5 things I've learned about how this thing is useful. So I thought I'd get it finished today, but I ended up dealing with a few things. So sometime, hopefully by tomorrow, I'll finish it.
I'm still waiting for Rick to come up with all his CNC videos.
Oh yeah, he's got like a room full of dangling carrots, right? He's just like, here, it's coming, can't have it. He was going to do a bunch on coin challenge coin polishing too,
but I thought that the PW one, the CNC was sent to him for review. I'm like, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, he's a lot of YouTubers aren't as eager to get things out of the way as say you and I might be. Like when I get a piece of hardware, I got to deal with it. Otherwise, it's just gonna occupy space. And, yeah, but I got rid of a bunch of things this week. So I have a little more space, but I'm pushing people away now for a lot of things because there's just too much of it. It just never ends. And people, I mean, you get it too, right? Oh, you get free stuff. It's not free. It takes a long time, way longer than to do a proper project video.
I have a friend. She's a YouTuber. She doesn't have a lot of subscribers. She lives here near me, and she is a very successful woman, runs a couple of businesses. She's the one that teaches woodworking classes. That's where I first got into the woodworking. I went and took one of her classes. She has a business on repairing chairs. And but she got contacted by a laser company. I'm not going to say which company because I worked with them and I reviewed some of their lasers. But they sent her a laser that is about $300 worth, like one of those little things. And they want 3 videos for it. So she's been playing with this $300 laser for the last 3 weeks. She cannot make it work at all. She can't do anything on it. And she has a laser. She has an xTool. But this one, their software, it's not developed pretty much at all. So she's having trouble with it. So she spent 3 weeks trying to do this. Then she was like, okay, I'm going to try Lightburn. Maybe it works better there. So she got it to work on Lightburn, but she didn't have Lightburn before. So she spent over $100 on Lightburn now. She still doesn't have the videos. She's like, what did I get myself into? It's just like, I don't even know about this laser.
Yeah, I might actually have the same laser sitting in a box. It's been in my shop for, I don't know, a few weeks, but it's a little box. So
yep. It's a tiny. She brought it to my shop. She's like, Skyler, help me. I don't know. You know about lasers. I can't make this thing work. She brought it here. And I mean, we got it to engrave and cut a little bit, but it was like the framing was not working at all. You're just blindly putting things on the bed and hoping that the laser will go there.
This sounds like the familiar early software problem.
Yeah. But
something to look forward
but they asked for 3 videos for it, and they keep harassing her and sending her emails like, hey, I have an idea. Can you do this project on this laser? She's like, what project? I can't even make it to cut a square.
I had one, actually, it might have been this laser. They had the nerve to send me a video outline. Here's a video outline for you. And it's like, I don't care what you think the outline's going to be. If there's bad things, I want to say bad things about it.
Yep.
Yeah, so those I push back on hard. Like I said, I built this sort of ethics and kind of general direction sort of document that I give to to sellers now. I should actually share it with everybody so they know how I review things. And in there, it just basically says, it's my channel. I'm here to help people. I'm not here to work for you. So, don't expect that I'm going to do everything you say. Don't expect, if you say you need it, you send me the laser today and you need a video tomorrow, it's not going to happen. Like they're very aggressive. From their perspective, it's clear that the average YouTuber is a pawn in a game, right? And like, I don't mind helping companies that are building things that are interesting. Like, I wasn't going to do the alien cell, and then I saw a couple of things there, like the live focus stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is interesting, right? Like, this is pushing.
People want to see that.
Forward. But it pushes the market forward, right? If it's just another, here's another 5-watt diode laser that can cut a hole in something or engrave something, so what? Who cares, right? It's been done to death. And anybody who wanted one of those probably bought it already. So I look for things that are new or innovative in some way. And
a lot of companies do now. They say that you will say, okay, I'll review your laser, and then you wait and wait. And it's like, oh, it's not ready. Oh, we'll send it next month. Oh, now it's April. Now it's June, and you wait 9 months. Then it shows up, and it shows up at night, like 9 p.m. gets delivered on my porch. Next morning, I get an email. I saw you got the laser. When are you gonna expect the video from you?
Is your video done yet?
It's still on the porch. I didn't even bring it in.
Yeah, it's just you're not gonna get a good review that way, right? And and I kind of ghosted a company yesterday because they said, we'll lend you the laser, you can do 4 videos and then send it back, and it's like, forget it. Like, first of all, I'm not gonna do 4 videos.
That's how I got a company from 2 streams ago. Like, somebody contacted Rick something about the lasers, and then they immediately sent me an email when I went in the house. I had an email from them to review a laser, and they want me to do. They asked me if I would review it, and I looked over it and stuff. I'm like, maybe if you send me this one, because they had multiple lasers. They were like, sure, we can do that. We expect you to do 6 long format videos and 6 shorts for it. I'm like, no, are you crazy?
So we own your video content for the next 2 months.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm doing 1. That's what I'm doing. I'm just reviewing the video.
I mean, I don't mind. So a review is fine, because then you can highlight, here's what's new about this.
Right. I can do a short.
Different than everything else on the market. Sometimes a short. If I have a project where I can use it in not an excuse kind of way, like, here's a project and this laser will actually help me, or this tool, whatever it is, I'll use it and do a video. That's different than being forced to just create some contrived project.
My theory, what I usually tell the laser companies is, okay, I'll review it, I'll show a good overview of what the laser can do and stuff, and then I'll feed off the viewers, right? If they ask questions about something, can you show us how you do this, inner glass engraving, the settings or something, then I'll do a follow-up. I have no problem. If the viewers are asking for that, I will do it. But I'm not gonna, tell the company I'm making a video every week for the next 5 months for you.
Yeah.
So, like I do, like most companies, they send me the extension table and the rotary tool for pretty much every laser I have. I've never reviewed any of those. I show it and I say, I have it. If you want to see it, I can make a video on it, but I don't know how to use them. I've never used them. So let other people that use them, they know how to review those things.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of project videos that I'd like to do. And I'll pick a laser, I'm going to use a laser, CNC, and a couple of other things to make this project the one I'm thinking of. And I'll pick one of them and I'll use it, and I'll say, hey, this is a whatever, and here's how I'm using it. Right. But that's the real world, right? It's like, hey, this is for an actual customer, and I'm using this tool in my shop to do real work, because that gives people a feel for, certainly how to use that tool, but what it's good for, right? So I try to do that rather than let's just invent a project and create something. I've done some of those and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm also pretty clear that I don't do marketing videos. I don't hype things. If I like it, I'll tell you I like it, but I'm not going to say, and you got to buy it. Like click this link here or the world's going to end for you. Anyway, Santa says, I used to laugh at the older guys in my woodworking group who were turners. They constantly talk about we can turn everything with a skew, and you would talk about carbide tips. Yeah. It's true that a lot of the wood turners are these older guys, but man, you see some of the stuff they built. And it's like I wouldn't even know how to build it with a something like a CNC. Like they're turning the inside as well, right? So
I have
it's very thin. Like the wall of the thing is only like 3 millimeters thick.
Yep. The instructor from my local Rockler, he's amazing wood turner. He's always, when I go there in the store, they all know me. So I go in and he always has his projects there. It's like, Skyler, let me show you what I did. And it's like cool little vases with like a neck about this narrow, but then it's hollow inside.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. You're like, wow, how, like, what? I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah, my buddy who's a master wood turner has tried numerous times to show me the jig that makes that happen. And it's like, this is like, it's like rocket science, right? Because in order to make it thin on the inside, you have to know the contour on the outside. And it's...
Yeah, when I turned my first bowl, with the same guy, I took a class with him. And I kept going, the walls make it thinner and thinner. I was afraid I'm going to go through the wall. He's like, no, the bowl will talk to you when it's ready. And little do you know, it was singing. It was making sounds as you were going and getting thinner to the perfect thickness. Yeah, I was like, what? It talked to me.
That's what it says before it starts throwing things at you.
Probably.
Tim says, I haven't been there for a few weeks. What did you get rid of? Oh, he's asking. I'll tell you offline. There's quite I got a bunch of things gone. I'd like to get rid of some more, but air purifiers. So I had a whole pile of these things because they were always sending me one every time that I get a laser, and it's like no one wants these, right? It's the one person who wants to do laser engraving in an apartment, they buy one, but everyone else is just going to vent outside because it's cheaper and it's cleaner.
Filters are not cheap on those things.
No,
and they get clogged really easily.
So I had, I think, 4 of these things, and Tim got one for his E1, and I thought, great, that's one down. But then within the last week, I got rid of the other 3. Like there's a big rush on air pollution apparently, and everybody wants to have.
I think I still have one. I used to have like 2 or 3. Now I have
one. I'll have one after this. Just one left.
The only time I use it is when I bring for review a laser here in the shop to show it when I film the video. And because on the bench here, I cannot hose it outside. Usually I do all my laser work in my finishing room. So there's, I have the vents through the wall and stuff. But so if I bring it here to show something in the video, then I will use that purifier.
Chris says, yeah, I just love these stores that start begging for product reviews before you even have time to open the package. They're super aggressive, and I mean, I get it, right? They're building. It takes even something that if they build a new laser and it looks just like the laser somebody else built last year, it still takes a lot of time to develop that, and time is money, as they say. So they got to recoup, right? So they want to sell stuff quickly, and it's like somebody asked me. There was one, I had something coming, UPS was going to deliver it, and the day before it arrived, they asked me if I was working on the review. It's like, did you check the status of this thing? I haven't gotten it yet. It's like, come on. But yeah, I generally don't let companies tell me what I have to say. or when I have to say it, because that's just such a trap to fall into. Chris says, TV is a monitor in this room I use for designing. Laptop, I use it the lasers. Checked laptop, it has overscan where described. Okay, so we're still talking about overscan. Man.
But problem is solved.
Yeah, light burn is set to no machine, so it wasn't showing. Yeah. Well, at least you can see it now anyway. So play with that. I don't know if you see it there. What was it set to? First of all, was it turned on, and what was it set to? Because the default I think is 4%, but I don't know if the default is on or not. Because you don't normally need a whole lot of it for diode lasers. Cedar Point Woodshop says hi. Hey, Clack's in the house. Hey, Clack. Making pizzas. Hey, let's go to Clack's place. Learning 3D printing, scanning. Yeah, I've looked at a couple of scanners, and I have yet to find one that I like. I mean, I don't know what Clack is scanning, but one of the things I'd like to scan, because if I want to restore a chess set, sometimes inevitably the piece that's broken is always the knight, right? So you gotta make a horse, and it has to look exactly the same as the last one. So you'd really like to scan it, but I haven't found a scanner that can deal with something that size with any kind of accuracy yet. Some of them are coming out, but old dog, new tricks. Yeah, you're not old, Clack. You're barely retired. Should ask Clack how retirement is going. It's got to be better than getting up. Somebody asked me the other day if they could book a meeting with me, like put a meeting in my calendar. And it's like, I don't even know if I have a calendar. I don't. Usually I have to look at my watch to see what day it is. And that's the best way to be.
I know my kids are on spring break right now, and it's like, I have no idea what day it is. Yesterday, I keep thinking that was Monday. I was like, I don't know. It's like, tomorrow's Tuesday. They're like, no, Mom, it's not.
Yeah, it's easy to lose track of time when you don't have to work to a schedule.
My whole work, it's all my driving kids to activities.
Yeah, enjoy it while you have it, though. I have two boys, and they're both now in their 30s, and one of them was born in November, and he was very small when he was born, so I used to stuff him inside my coat when I went outside in the wintertime. And now he's about 40 pounds heavier than I am, and it's not fat. He's just like, it's not like me.
He's tall and big.
He's solid. And I told him one day that I used to carry him around in my coat, and he looks at me, and he looks at, he looks himself up and down and goes, no. I said, you're only this big. And that doesn't seem that long ago.
It goes fast.
Mark at GC Heatstroke. Heatstroke? Good evening, all. I'm sorry I missed the stream tonight. Well, you haven't missed it yet. We still got time to ask a question. But I will watch the replay. Oh, the overscan was at 2.5. Yeah, that's a little small. Try 4. Depending on the laser. Well, you said it's a V1. Maybe check to make sure you don't have a loose belt on the gantry, just in case. It might be a little floppy. Dan Sawfish. Oh, we got some new names tonight. They must have heard Rick wasn't going to be here, so they all showed up. I put that in there so Rick could listen to it later. Hello to you too. If you had to work with cedar, see, now this is where we actually need Rick because he works with cedar. What type of cedar would you work with? And have you done any projects? I don't know. Have you worked with cedar, Skyler?
I do, but the cedar I work with is the red cedar, the aromatic cedar. I worked with Alaskan cedar and Spanish cedar. But I don't do outdoor projects. Mine are just, indoors little things.
Yeah. The only thing we have here, I mean, we don't have any like really exotic kinds of cedar. We have the standard kind of swamp type cedar, which you can get aromatic cedar, which is
aromatic cedar is nice, but it has so many nuts. It's hard to find a good plank. Like you can't really make a good project out of it. Like I use it for my intarsias, escrosa.
I think you got to go to the right place to get it. Like the wood warehouse that I go to, you can get pretty nice cedar there. But here we got Western red cedar, a lot of that.
Yeah, and also cedar is pretty soft, so I usually like hardwoods just because they finish so much nicer. But I think Alaskan cedar is very nice. It's like a pale yellow.
Yeah.
But it does smell, right? So it has like the aromatic cedar, it kind of smells nice. Where the Alaskan cedar has like almost like a smoky smell. So
that's because of all those forest fires in Canada blowing over there.
I made a cribbage board once, and at the top of it was epoxy with yellow cedar burr. Have you seen? It looks beautiful. Have you ever seen a yellow cedar burr? Let me get one.
Jeez, you got everything at your disposal. Yeah, I guess it's too bad Rick wasn't here tonight because he does a lot of flower boxes and bird houses and things with cedar. It cuts, like if you're cutting it with a laser, it cuts pretty well. CNC, definitely.
So this is a yellow cedar burr.
Wow, that looks nice.
But when you put finish on it, it's really bright yellow. Let me see here. So I made a cribbage board with this and epoxy.
Yeah, and how many hundreds of dollars did you sell that cribbage board for?
And well, but here's the kicker: the base of it, I made it from Alaskan cedar, which is the same kind of yellowish tone, but it's just plain, very straight grain, very clean wood. And I sold it, and then the person was like, "I'm so sorry, I have to return this because it smells like it came from a smoker's house, and nobody smokes in our house." And I was like, it's impossible. Like, why would it smell like smoke? And I couldn't think of it. And then when I came back, I smelled it. It was just the cedar smell.
Huh.
So,
I don't mind aromatic cedar. You can only really use it for like chests and things, right? But
right. I use mine for the intarsia to make the flowers when I make the things.
Yeah, but
any colors.
But do they smell? Do they smell like aromatic cedar when you're done? Probably.
Well, I mean, if you put a finish on it, like poly or something that is a varnish, it will seal it up and you don't smell it.
Yeah, seal it, but that kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, yeah.
There you go. Clack stays very busy. See, when I stopped working full time, people said, "Oh, you'll be busy all the time. Like you'll wonder how you ever worked a day job." And I thought, no, that's impossible. But I work longer hours now than I did when I had this job and my regular day job. It's crazy. Yeah, red cedar. We have a lot of red cedar here. I have a gazebo in my backyard, and now I'm on the East Coast, and the entire thing is Western cedar. Like it's like it would have cost them a crazy amount of money just to get the wood here, and it's got like 6x6s and 4x4s in there for all the corners, and because it's octagonal. it came with
But
the house. I
it's
didn't
great
go.
that it's rot resistant.
Yeah.
Can withstand that.
Although whoever owned this house before I didn't really look after it, so I had to water blast it and then restain it to get it back to rood cedar. I assume black means red cedar. Yeah, Western red cedar is our thing here, but it costs a lot to ship it here because it's the complete opposite side of the country. Yeah, it burns nice. It's a little too nice. If you're like, I can't believe people put cedar on their roofs. It's more of a California thing, but it's like you live in a place where they get brush fires and forest fires and you have a cedar roof. Yeah, so Clack has a mill.
Bring my slab to him.
Yeah, go on a road trip.
Show up. Yeah.
I know what day of the week it is. What day? Yes. So Wednesdays, I know, because I wake up in the morning and go, oh, it's stream night. And then I think about, how much can I get done before the stream starts? Chris says, Steve, you need to have a word to your employee. Yeah, that's me. Your workshop behind you. Oh, that one?
It's standing there next to the 3D printer.
Yeah. So I'm going to change a lot of this stuff. So maybe by next week, we'll see. But yeah, I got to do some reconstruction in my studio. There's a few things that are in the way, and there's still some audio issues here that I want to fix as well. Yeah, he never moved. It's a she. It's not a he.
I'm sorry.
All right. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. We finally did get the Radu's laser question resolved. I knew I had the right answer. I just didn't know where it was. And I didn't. I'm gonna have to put Lightburn on this machine. This is my editing machine, so it doesn't have any laser things on it.
I'm gonna show you the project I'm working on now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been working on this cross now because of Easter.
Oh, nice.
So it has tulips. So that's what I would use red cedar for to make tulips or, this kind of project.
See, I wish I had talent.
This is no talent. I follow the pattern.
That's not insignificant.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Can't see my counter. I don't have it. Oh, that counter? Well, yeah, it's because of the stream here.
Getting closer?
It actually hasn't moved much this week. YouTube
I saw Rick posted that he just reached 65,000, 54,000, something like that.
Yeah.
He put it on Facebook.
It's just, it goes in spurts. And like there was a time late in the summer, this past summer, where people were saying, oh, YouTube's really slowing down. And then all of a sudden it went crazy and people were still saying it was slowing down. And then it slowed down for a while and then it took off again. So I don't know whether I'm appealing to the YouTube algorithm or not. It's just,
Did you feel that you got like a boost once you get around 75,000?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it was before that, but definitely around 75,000. I think you appeal to a different code path in the YouTube algorithm. And then it seems now like regularly videos get, I don't know, 10, 15,000 views that Creality M1, I think, is at pretty close to 120,000.
Oh,
Now,
that's
it's kind of unique, and there's no one else on YouTube that has that thing yet. So,
right.
So I kind of cornered the market. But it was just kind of cool to have that one just kind of take off. I have to do another one, actually. I got the shredder now, and I want to do one on making particular colors of filament, because I've been playing. That's what I've been playing around with that a little bit, and it's, if there was a thing to learn, it's mixing color. Making the filament is easy. You put a bunch of crap in the top and you push the start button and you meander it around to the spool and you start winding. But getting the color you want and getting it consistent, or there's definitely some magic there. Yeah. So I spent actually a bit of time watching. I didn't realize this, but I'm glad it's there on YouTube. There's whole channels of just people taking like red, yellow, and blue acrylic paint along with black and white and mixing particular colors.
Yep.
And it's like, I want to know that.
I took some painting classes earlier in my days, and we were required for the class only to have the white. We didn't have black. They didn't ask for black, but you just have the primary colors in white. You use gesso for the white, and then you just mix your own colors in the class.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but that's basically what making a particular color of filament is too, right? It's just harder, because it's not like you can, like paint, you can take 3 little piles of paint and mix them together and you can see immediately whether it's the right color. And if it's not, you can kind of add a little more of something, right? With filament, you kind of have to be right going in, because you can't change it once it's going, right?
Right.
So
just waste a lot of it.
So yeah, I've spent a measurable amount of time in the last couple of weeks watching paint mixing videos. So
they should make a software where you can digitally mix.
Well, there are. So the thing is, like, I mean, if it was a computer, computers use RGB, but blue, but green isn't a primary color. So in the filament mixing world, you use red, yellow, and blue, right, along with white. And there's no, I looked for a decent color, like there are color mixers online for RGB and CMYK and a bunch of other things, but there's not a really good one for RYB. And it's like that, this is what got me into watching these paint mixing videos, because so I've been taking them, trying a little bit and going, yeah, that worked, and I'm building a spreadsheet of things, colors that work. And
so you need to develop a software. You're into something. Nobody has it.
Yeah, I'll just build a spreadsheet. But and you have to measure. So the other thing that's critical is the mass of each of the master batch colors, because they are so intense. Like literally, I dropped one little crumb of red in the hopper with a bunch of yellow, and you see a whole bunch of yellow come out, and then there's this one stripe for about a couple, well, it was probably a couple of feet long, that had red in it, and then it turned back to yellow again. It's like, wow. So you need to measure it really accurately. And I was initially using a postal scale. Well, my postal scale is only accurate to within a couple of grams, and you need fractions, like
a pharmacy.
Yeah. So I actually have a scale now that will measure hundreds of grams. And literally, you take one crumb of master batch and you drop it on, and you can see the weight change. So once you can get it accurate, then things become a little easier. Radu says, smash that thumbs up button. Please do. Here's one for you, Skyler.
Skyler, the delivery you opened in the last short has so much potential. Thought it must be tough to decide what to use it on.
I didn't see that.
It was, I think it's referring to some rosewood burl that I bought. I bought many planks of it. It's beautiful. was very pricey though.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm surprised that there are people still selling rosewood, because it's one of those world protected woods now, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of rose. Let me show you these blanks. They look pretty.
But in India, they still make the black pieces of a chest set with rosewood.
So I just brought a couple of them over to show you. I think I bought like, I don't know, like 12 of these guys.
Yeah. See, I'd love to make a chessboard out of that kind of stuff.
Well, I can give you my supplier.
I'd also need a bunch of money to do it.
Yeah, so they're all pretty small blocks. Some are bigger than others, but I can resaw them and make a bigger block. And yeah, if you want the supplier name, let me know. I'll give it to you. I still haven't decided what to make with it. I just looked it up online, and you never know. You know, when you see pictures online, you're like, is it gonna look like that? Is it not? And I just bought a whole bunch of them, and then it showed up, and they look nice.
Yeah, Santa says, get yourself a color wheel. This is what I tried, and you can't get a really good red, yellow, blue color wheel. Every other one you can get, but it's because, you know, the only people who work with red, yellow, and blue are kids with crayons, right? So, and people who paint. So, and neither one of them cares what a color wheel looks like. They just mix until it looks right. Green is my favorite color.
It's a good color.
So I did make a green, which has become my favorite color, in part because I made it. But it came out really nice. You know, let me see.
It's hard to find a good green though, so it doesn't look too yellow and limey, but it's not too dark and, you know, army-like.
Well, this one is more. Now, this isn't the best light here, but let me see if I can.
Oh, that is nice.
Get this by itself. Oops. Full screen.
More like a forest green.
Yeah, it's a pretty dark green. So I made that, which is kind of cool. And I mean, it was pretty simple.
Did you make
More
the
importantly,
blue behind it?
Well, the other one's purple, and then the one behind that is actually kind of like an eggplant color. But yeah, how do we get back here? Here we go. But the cool thing was I made it and I can make it again, which is even cooler. So, and it's consistent color. So there are some tricks to make things consistent. Now this is new filament, like new pellets. With recycled filament, which I've also started using now for a lot of infill and support and stuff. I don't care what color that is. And it always, like, you take a handful of crap and you throw it into the grinder and grind it up, and it comes out, usually it's some weird brown color of some sort.
You can probably make it black though, right? Or something that just.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw a handful of black master batch in there and make it black, I guess. But yeah, I've been playing. So Sun Lu sent me a bunch of interesting rolls of filament. So I have a lot of PA6 and stuff now, and which is nylon. It is like really hard to print, but when you finally get the settings right, it comes out fantastic. And it's bulletproof pretty much, and you can put it outside, and it's very, very strong. So
is that what you made that hammer with before?
Hammer?
A hammer? You made a hammer, right?
Oh no, that's actually carbon fiber.
okay.
Like carbon fiber inside regular filament. I don't have a whole lot of need for that. There are times though when it's good to have it at my disposal, but for the most part, I do prototypes, right? And it's like, yeah, I'm going to show you. You're going to go, no, change that thing over there. Okay, so I'll grind this one up and make you another one. So it's that kind of evolution. So I tend not to use any of these exotics, but I have a little project I want to get done. And I was talking to one of the Sun Lu people, and they sent me a bunch of filament, and I like their filament for bamboo printers. Actually, one of the rolls they sent me has, like, I looked at it beside a bamboo spool, and it's the same color. It's got the same little kind of hole pattern in the sides of the spool. And, you know, and I do hear rumors that
they're made in the same factory.
Well, they are made in the same factory, there's no question. But I do hear that Bamboo is setting up their own line. So they're going to start making their own filament. And I guess they have all these spools left over. I don't know. So they're starting to use them. But yeah, I have a bunch of PA6. I have a bunch of ASA, all good filaments, because I want to make some stuff that's going to be outside. So, and I'll do some videos on. I'm actually going to do a video on how to make these numbers back here too, which you can't see anymore.
No.
Can I get over there? This is weird. It chopped everything in half here. So. We do it this way. Ah, there we go.
Yep, there you are.
They're over there in the corner. So I'll do a video at some point on how to make those. And I told Sunlu I'd use their filament to make it. So, which I used to make those. So. Yeah. So Clack says this seems to be good work for AI to calculate. Probably, but I would, before I let some machine loose to do it, I'd rather learn the principles myself. The last time I did anything related to color mixing, it was probably in like grade school. So this is a good refresher from school that was 40 years ago, 50 years ago almost. That's why, so Chris says, that's why I think Filament should have the PMS color standard on the bottom. I wish they did, actually. Some of them have Pantone colors on them, but very, very few. It's because I think the colors aren't always consistent with some of the filament makers. Red, we'll be here all week. Please pay your wages on the way out. Stains. You can't see the final color until later in the final finish. Yeah, stains are the same way. Like you don't see them until, well, even paint to some degree, you don't see what the final color is going to be until it's dry, right? But filament, usually by the time you see it, it's too late. Like you're not changing it. And because this master batch is so intense, like literally one extra grain is enough to set the color off. So you have to be very particular. Jim says, green is my favorite color. It's called money. Our money's not green. Here's one. See, it's brown. I know Canadians get hassled because Americans call our money monopoly money, but we have some of the hardest money in the world to counterfeit.
Are they different sizes too, kind of like euros?
No.
They're all the same size?
But they have all kinds of crazy security things in them. Like if you take a red dot laser and you look through this little maple leaf here, you'll see the denomination of the bill if you look through it. Yeah, it's very cool. What's this? Razor Built. Wow, new name. What technology do you use the most in your shop? And which one would you not live without? What do you use the most, Skyler?
It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
I think I have sanders. I have the most sanders.
I hate sanding.
I do too, but I have a lot of sanders. Like I'm just looking around and
I would say the most used piece of technology in my shop is a pencil.
Pencil. That's a good one.
I use my my CO2 laser a lot for a lot of things.
I don't use it so much anymore.
but
sanders, I can see 7 sanders just now looking around the room, not even counting the ones in the cabinets. And I'm not talking about your orbital sander, just machines.
Yeah, I only have my drum sander.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard to. This is a hard thing to answer because, like, my 3D printers are going 24/7 most of the time, right? So I don't. Does that count as using them the most? Probably. I mean, I put 300 hours. This H2C that I got 4 months ago has almost 500 hours on it now. Probably has more than 500. So they get used a lot. Sometimes for things I need, but usually it's like a prototype of some sort.
I know. I use all the tools in my shop. Many times my husband will come in and be like, it's so crowded in here. You need to get rid of some machines. Which one don't you use? I'm looking around. I'm like, I use all of them.
I have the biggest machine in my shop is my tractor. It sits over in the corner. I wish it didn't because I need the floor space, but I don't have anywhere else to put it.
But yeah, I have 2 band saws, 2 table saws, many sanders. I'll have 2 drum sanders coming this week. Everything is just multiples.
A boomer says I have to make some clack orange. I think I do because clack has the whole market cornered for clack orange filament.
It's probably patent.
Yeah, you can't get it from Bamboo anymore. Bamboo is just like, you go to their site to buy filament and they have like, 14 colors of PLA or PETG, but they have 3 of them in stock. And I think this is because they're in that transition where they're
making
starting
their own
to fire up their own line, right? So, yes, Clack bought all of it. I do have to credit Clack for his little jig that he built for a rotary. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, he built these little bigger spools that fit onto the claws of a rotary chuck and hold things much better. So good on him, because it actually seems to work. Because chucks are like the worst things to try and hold anything round. I didn't read the rest of the green comment. What green comment? Who said this? Radu. Let me go back. Oh, green is my favorite color. In fact, I like it more than blue and yellow combined. Okay. He's good for two dad jokes a night now. Where were we? Dan says, I'm in Washington State. I get Alaskan yellow and Western red cedar. Old growth Western red. That Alaskan smells totally different from Western red. Yeah, I like the smell of red cedar. It's not quite as potent as the aromatic stuff. Skyler, your Alaskan yellow oh, go ahead.
Grain. Yes, it does have very tight grain, and it's very, very straight grain. And usually very clean board, like has no knots or anything. Just super, super nice wood to work with. Cuts easily, finish nicely.
All right, we're at time. Oh, here we go. Clack started buying Overture from Amazon. I don't really care for Overture filament, but it's one of those things. It's like an Amazon special, right? So the Overture from 6 months ago may not be the same stuff that it is now. They work really well. Yeah, those O-rings actually was a good idea. Anyway, we're at time. So if you had a question that we didn't get to, ask it. Come back next week and ask it. Anything to close down here, Skyler?
Not much. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We survived it without Rick.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
But sadly, there was a question for him tonight around cedar. But yeah. So
we'll have to come back next week and talk about the cedar.
Yeah. Are you back next week?
I guess I am until Rick tells me not to.
End of the month. Oh, well, hopefully he won't tell you not to. All right.
I told him I'll cover while Roger is putting his life back together and are feeling up.
Roger's getting better.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing, man.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, thanks everybody, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Thanks.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Steve.
Thanks.